This is the story of how trying to do the right thing cost me everything. My wife had been talking for months about starting her own business. She had it all mapped out. Location, staff, branding, inventory, the works. She told me she needed $3 million to bring it to life. Her eyes were full of fire, passion, and ambition.
I make enough to provide for us.
She's comfortable. We live well. I didn't understand why she needed to start a business. Why leave stability for stress? $3 million is a lot of money.
I had it, yes.
But I wasn't convinced it was a wise investment. What if the business crumbled? What if the economy took a dip? Business is unpredictable. What if she failed? It's a risk.
And one I wasn't ready to take. So I told her, let me think about it. But the truth? I didn't intend to give her the money.
So I told her I'd think about it. Weeks passed. She brought it up again and again. Each time I'd tell her that things were tight.
Or that the money was tied up in projects. I told her I didn't have that kind of money.
She didn't believe me at first, but over time she stopped asking. Her excitement dimmed, and I convinced myself I was protecting her from potential failure. Then one evening, I got a message from someone I hadn't heard from in years. My ex-wife. We hadn't spoken since the divorce, which had been painful but civil. We had simply grown apart. She moved on. I moved on. She had remarried, started a new life, and I had done the same. But now she was desperate. She told me she was dying. Both her kidneys had failed. She was on dialysis, week in and out of hospitals. Her husband had lost his job, and they'd sold everything. Cars, jewelry, property, just to keep her alive. She needed a transplant. And she needed $4 million for the procedure. Post-op care and medication. I listened in silence. Not because I didn't care, but because I didn't know how to process it. I asked her why she was coming to me. She said her husband had exhausted every avenue. Her family had done all they could, and she had no one else. I didn't say yes that night, but I couldn't sleep.
I kept thinking, what if I don't help?
What if she dies?
Could I live with that? Could I live with knowing I could have saved a life and didn't?
So I did it. I transferred $5 million to her account the next morning.
No explanation.
No conditions. The surgery went well. The transplant was successful. Her recovery took time, but she pulled through.
I felt at peace.
Like I'd done something good.
Something right.
She sent me a message months later. Thank you for saving my life. I'll never forget it.
That was the end of it. I never told my wife about it. I didn't think she needed to know.
Until one day she found out.
'Cause secrets don't stay buried forever.
One weekend we attended a friend's baby shower. It was a beautiful afternoon filled with laughter, gifts, and champagne. As I stood in the corner chatting with a few other husbands, I heard a familiar voice call my wife's name.
It was my ex-wife's younger sister.
They had gone to the same university years ago and had mutual friends. They hadn't seen each other in ages. They hugged, caught up, and began chatting like old classmates. Then I saw the moment it happened, the moment the conversation shifted. My ex's sister said, "Your husband is a hero, you know."
If he hadn't stepped in, my sister would have died. We all thought it was over, but your man, he saved her life. Gave her $5 million just like that.
We'll never forget what he did. My wife stood frozen, smiling politely, nodding, but I knew that look. We barely spoke on the way home. Her voice was soft when she asked, "Did you really give your ex $5 million? So you had $5 million?
But you lied to my face every day and said you were broke."
I tried to explain. I told her everything. The kidney failure, the desperation, the lack of alternatives, the fact that it was about saving a human life, not rekindling anything. I told her it wasn't about love. It was about decency.
About conscience.
But she wasn't listening. She whispered, "You told me you didn't have the money. For me, for us. But you had it for her. You refused to support me. Your wife. But gave my rival a higher amount than I even asked for." I tried to explain.
I really did.
It wasn't about love. It wasn't about her. She was going to die.
I helped because I'm human.
Not because I still love her. But everything I said didn't matter. She said I chose my ex-wife over her. That I humiliated her.
That I lied.
That night, she slept in the guest room. The next morning, she packed a bag. She didn't scream. She didn't accuse. She just said, I don't know if I can stay married to a man who lies with such calm.
I begged her to understand.
But this wasn't about choosing one woman over another. It was about choosing life over death. But in her eyes, it was about choosing. She felt like I had looked her in the eyes, lied, and given her dream away to a woman from my past. She felt second. She felt small. She felt betrayed. So here I am, caught between mercy and marriage.
I saved a life.
But I may lose the woman who gave my life meaning.
And I ask myself every day, did I do the right thing?
Or did I just make the most expensive mistake of my life?
What would you have done? Let me know in the comments.